Hi, welcome to my channel, and I'm so glad you're here. My name is Mandy, and I am going to do the Booktube Newbie Tag questionnaire today, and I'm very excited. So I started my YouTube just a few weeks ago. So I'm still really learning. I am kind of throwing myself into everything. I'm learning video editing. I'm learning all of these different things that I kind of dabbled in, a little bit with my phone, but I am learning all sorts of technical things with an actual camera, with actual digital editing software, all that jazz. So I have been watching YouTube and Booktube for a few years now, and I decided to just jump. So like the first question in the questionnaire that I found through looking at Booktube and through the Booktube Newbie Tag that I had seen that there's actually the Booktube Newbie Tag video. I just thought you were supposed to tag yourself if you were new, but I was watching Evening Reader, who is also new to YouTube, and she had the questionnaire, and I realized that other people that I watched had done this questionnaire before. So number one is, why did you start this channel? So I started this channel because I really enjoy Booktube. I really enjoy the community that is here, and I really enjoy talking about books. So I decided that I should, instead of typing away all the time, I should show my face and become part of the conversation through videos. And I love recommending books, and I love being able to, throw people this way and say, hey, come check out my YouTube where I talk more about books. It's kind of fun. Anyway, that's why. Number two, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to YouTube? Well, as a human, I think we all can bring our own perspectives and our own unique voice, and that's kind of what I want to do. I want to bring my own perspective and my own voice. We all have a story within us, and I think that's the uniqueness. I'm also really weird and awkward, and I've experienced some life, as most people have when they're in their mid-30s. So, yeah, those are the things that I think will be fun and unique. Sometimes I break out into song, and so, I've already had a couple pieces in some of my videos where I've broken out into song. Sometimes I break out into a little dance. So, I don't know. We'll see as I go how much more confident I get. And yeah, I will say, before I go on to the next question, the one unique perspective that I can bring is that I am an illustrator. And so I not only read books, but I like to draw books. So I'm currently working on my first children's book, and so I'm excited about that. But I really, just love books of any kind. And the children's book illustrating kind of came out of my love of reading books to my kids. So I kind of want to put them in a book. We'll see how that works. I don't know if I'm ever going to actually finish my children's book, but we'll see. Anyway, so that's a unique, if that's what they're going for with that question. Next question. What are you most excited about for your channel? Community, people, hello, talking about books. Those are what I'm most excited about. That's really what I'm here for. I'm here to talk about books and share my love of books and be part of this awesome community in a different way. So that's what I'm here for. Number four, why do you love reading? I always think, why do I love reading? It's almost like asking me, why do I love breathing? Because it's part of my life. It's so ingrained. I've been reading, and that's the question, I think. So, but I've been reading forever, it feels like, and I just love escaping, but not just escaping. I love being challenged. I love the things that books can do for you. I love getting lost in books, whatever that looks like, and feeling emotions through them, in whatever that emotion is, because certain books require different emotional feelings and are trying to do something different. So it just, yeah, Number 5, what book series got you into reading? Lots. But the ones that are really, really big for me that I can think of were the American Girl series. There were also these like American Journal like type ones. I don't know if anybody remembers them, but they're from the 90s, and they were these like historical like journals of like little girls and little boys. Maybe it was just girls, but it wasn't the American Girl, but it was like they were hardback and they had colors. And I know I've read a few, but they were like diary entries. So if anybody remembers what those were, those got me into reading. The Little House on the Prairie books. I'm here in South Dakota where Laura Ingalls Wilder lived for a lot of her life. She had a farm up in DeSmet, and she was huge. And so her history is really ingrained in our history of our state. So we learned a lot about her, and her books were in every single classroom that I can remember that I had growing up. And so I read them and I loved them. And it was like this like piece of the world that was famous to us. And those were when I was really little. And then when I really got into reading, it was the Fear Street books. I love Fear Street. Or I did. I haven't read them for, 25 odd years. But my cousin was about 6 years older than me, and she was into Fear Street. So, of course, I had to be just like her, and I was into Fear Street. And then, of course, I was of the age where all the books were coming out and all the movies were coming out, and it was all the rage, the midnight showings, the midnight releases of the books, and that was Harry Potter. And that really defined a lot of my reading choices and tastes in many, many years. And I think it's what solidified me going to school for English, and I got my degree in English literature over that. But I've read so many books. Oh, and then another one that really stuck with me is Night by Elie Wiesel, and I was lucky enough to meet one of his friends in high school. So I mean, just so many books got me into reading, and so many series, and it's never ending because I just keep reading. So yeah. Number 6 is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? What's your favorite book? What's your favorite genre? Like, and I kind of sometimes know that, but I sometimes think favorites. Favorites are some of my favorite videos. So can you do some more? More favorites. Like your favorites. I know a lot of booktubers do reading book, Goodreads and things and all that stuff, but I would love to just see like their all-time favorites and how those have changed through the years. Obviously, there's technical questions you'd ask them, but I really just want to engage, or what book would you say I have to read? That would be another one from booktubers. And 7, what challenges will be the hardest with BookTube? I think for me, it's sticking to a schedule. I struggle sticking to a schedule. I always have. It's something I'm getting better at, which is why I finally decided to start this BookTube, because I think I can actually stick to it. And I've stuck to it for almost a month, which I'm really proud of myself. And now I'm kind of thinking about adding an extra video a week, so I have 2 videos a week. So I'm pretty proud of myself. But sticking to a routine and sticking to a schedule are my 2 hardest things that I've ever done and ever learned as an adult. So that's what I'm working on. And I think that that's what I will struggle with here on BookTube. And number 8, when did you start reading? When I was really young. Is that the answer? I don't know. I've been reading my whole life. There have been very few times that I haven't read. I remember my capstone class. He was talking about the professor. He was like, you'll never read as much as you're reading in college. And I read more. I read more. He's like, as an English major, you'll never read more. I'm like, I read more than I read then, or just as much. I can't remember. I was reading 3 or 4 books a week then. Maybe I was. I don't know. But I also had to write papers on them, and this is much easier than writing papers and, citing my sources and blah, 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 and, going through. Yeah. I love academia, but I also love just reading and talking about why I didn't like a character and not having to back up why I didn't like it. I just didn't like him because. Like, right? Yeah, yeah. Okay. Number 8. That was 8. Number 9. Where do you read? I read all over. I am kind of what is that word? Opportunistic reader. So if there's a spot where I can read, I'll read. I really enjoy reading right here on my couch. This is my couch. When my kids, I have a TV right up here. Obviously, you can't see it, and there's toys all over the ground, so you can't see those either. But my kids will watch TV, and I will sit on the couch with them, so we're kind of still together. And I will have a book or my Kindle. I have all these books back here that I'm trying to like see them every day, so I'll read them. That's my goal, and so I read anywhere: bed, car, parents' house, friends. Well, no, sometimes friends' houses, doctor's office, everywhere. And number 10, what kind of books do you read? What kind of books do I read? I've been really into horror. Probably my whole life. Fear Street. I used to read the Christopher Pike books too. And now they just made a movie out of one of my favorite books of his from it was a Midnight Club or the Midnight, I think. It's on Netflix. So I need to check it out because I need to reread the book and then check it out. But I've always loved horror growing up. I like mystery. I used to like romance. I kind of got out of romance, and now I'm trying to see if there's romance that I like, and there's a few, but I don't like reading romance very often. I enjoy literary fiction quite a bit, depending on the literary fiction. I enjoy the Gothic novel. That's my favorite. I started back in college when I took a Gothic novel class, and I never realized that like my favorite books were considered Gothic novel, like Jane Eyre. I read Jane Eyre for the first time in high school and just fell in love with it, and I read it quite randomly, frequently. I don't read it every year, but I have read it quite a few times. And I didn't know it was a Gothic novel. I just knew it was a classic, and we had to read a classic for class, and I picked it up, and I've loved it ever since. But the Gothic novel is very, very fascinating to me. The tropes and the reasons why, and like what it says, what the Gothic looks like when it's created. And horror obviously is a genre, like Gothic is set in the horror genre, but it really, I don't know, there's something about the way that Gothic novels are structured that is just so fascinating to me. So I really enjoy them. That's what I like to read. And pretty much, if you say this is a good book, and you give me a setup or a synopsis, very, very small synopsis, and you say, oh my gosh, I loved this book, chances are I'm going to pick it up and I'll read it. And if I don't like it, I don't like it, but I just like to read. And there are so many books. So, yeah. And if you just read in one genre, you're missing out on a whole world of other genres. And that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, so that is me in a nutshell. I mean, just very surface level me. There's so much more I could talk about. I filmed this video once before my file corrupted, and I filmed it, and it was like 30 minutes. So I've truncated it down because I am trying not to ramble. But that is pretty much my book reading love. I am really excited to be here. I'm really excited to talk about books. I have so many like things that I want to talk about. Like, I'm like, oh, I need to talk about my favorite this, and oh, I need to talk about my favorite that. And like art contact, like I want to do my favorite art books that, you know, people can read. And yeah, so that's me. That's my life. That's who I am. Thank you so much for being here. If you have any advice for me, if you have a book recommendation for me, if you have any words of encouragement, if you have anything for me, go ahead and leave me a comment. I'm really excited to get to know all of you. If you're new here, let's, join up and come along on this crazy adventure together. Yeah. But thank you so much. And please subscribe if you like me. Oh, or if you don't, I don't know. Do people subscribe to people that they don't like? I don't. I can't say that I have, but maybe people like hate subscribe because like I don't know. Okay, now we're getting into Mandy awkward rambling, and I'm gonna let you go. So I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon.